Indian Cobra. People have been living next to this snake for so long that it almost stopped being just an animal. Somewhere along the way, it became something else, a symbol, a deity, a warning. Across the Indian subcontinent, this is the cobra everyone pictures, the one rising from a basket while a man plays a flute nearby. That image is everywhere, on postcards, in films, in every general knowledge book about wildlife. But honestly, the real animal is far more complicated than that image suggests. When it feels cornered, it spreads a wide, rounded hood, and on the back of that hood are two markings shaped almost exactly like eyes. It's a strange thing to look at. Hindu tradition tied this snake directly to Shiva, one of the most important gods in the religion, and that connection didn't come from nowhere. Thousands of people across South Asia die from its bite every year, and yet in many villages killing one is still considered deeply unlucky. That's a tension most animals never carry, being genuinely dangerous and genuinely sacred at the same time, for centuries. King Cobra. There's a reason people go quiet when they see one lift itself off the ground. The King Cobra is the longest venomous snake alive, over 5 meters in some cases, and when it rises up to defend itself, it reaches roughly eye level with a standing adult. That's not something you forget. It lives across the forests of South and Southeast Asia, often near water. And what's interesting is that unlike most cobras, it almost exclusively eats other snakes, including venomous ones. Over time, it's built up resistance to toxins that would drop most other animals. The female actually builds a nest, which is unusual for snakes, and she guards those eggs seriously. There are communities in India and Indonesia that still believe harming a king cobra brings misfortune to the family. As for the venom, concentration-wise, it's not the deadliest among cobras, but the volume delivered in a single bite is another story entirely. Egyptian Cobra. This one has been famous for a very long time. The uraeus, that iconic rearing serpent on the crown of Egyptian pharaohs, was almost certainly based on this animal. It was a symbol of royal power, of protection, of divine authority. And then there's Cleopatra. Whether the story is historically accurate or not, the fact that ancient accounts chose this specific snake as the means of her death says a lot about how it was perceived. It wasn't just dangerous, it was fitting. The Egyptian cobra is heavy-bodied and large, and its venom shuts the nervous system down, paralysis, then respiratory failure. Today, it still moves through savannas and farmland across North Africa, often drifting close to villages while looking for rodents. And it's still used by snake charmers, which is its own strange continuation of a very old relationship. The snake doesn't actually hear the music, by the way. It's following the movement of the charmer's body, always has been. Monocled Cobra. The marking on its hood, it's this single, unbroken ring, clean, circular, just sitting there in the center like, well, a monocle. That's where the name comes from, obviously. You find it from northeastern India all the way through much of Southeast Asia, and guess what? It loves rice paddies and low farmland, exactly where barefoot workers spend most of their day. And that, friends, is a huge part of why this species is involved in so many bite deaths in the region. The venom? Oh, it moves fast, and the tissue damage at the bite site can be severe. Even people who get anti-venom in time sometimes lose fingers, hands, portions of limbs. But what's harder to talk about is what happens to the snake itself. In Thailand, Vietnam, and parts of China, it's farmed, venom extracted, meat sold, skin used. It exists simultaneously as one of the most feared animals in the region and one of the most commercially exploited. That's a strange place to occupy, wouldn't you say? Red Spitting Cobra. Most cobras, they bite when they feel threatened. But this one? Oh, this one spits. Found across sub-Saharan Africa, the red spitting cobra can project venom from over 2 meters away, aimed directly at the eyes of whatever is threatening it. The accuracy is genuinely unsettling. It doesn't do this to hunt, purely defense, and the effect is immediate, intense pain, and without treatment, potential permanent blindness. The snake itself is slender and reddish-orange, which makes it visually distinct from most African cobras. It lives in dry, rocky areas and open savanna, mostly eating small mammals and frogs. What really struck me when reading about this species is the knowledge that exists around it in East African communities. If it spits at you, wash your eyes with water immediately. That knowledge has been passed down through families for generations, long before any medical infrastructure even existed in those areas. It's practical, knowledge from people who've simply lived near this animal for a very, very long time. Forest Cobra. Somehow, this is one of the least talked about cobras, despite being the largest true cobra on the African continent. It lives through the rainforests and river systems of Central and West Africa, and it moves through that environment with what can only be described as ease. It swims well, climbs when it needs to, and tolerates a wide range of habitats. Most cobras are more specialized, but this one isn't. The venom is fast-acting, and bites, though not frequent, are serious. But what's perhaps most notable about the forest cobra is just how quietly it exists. No famous mythology attached to it, no widespread cultural significance, no viral wildlife footage circulating online. It simply lives deep in one of the most complex ecosystems on Earth, doing exactly what it needs to do, largely unbothered and largely unnoticed. Instant conversations with the invadings of children,